Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Just Mets podcast. A little different tonight. I'll get to that in just a second. My name is Andrew. His name is Rich. We are presented by the Believe Podcast Network. Um, we record at the end of a series, and the Mets have decided the series is never going to end. It's a wraparound series from Friday to Monday over 4th of July weekend. And this random
7 p.m. game on a getaway day.
A getaway day, the Mets have to be in Queens for a game on Tuesday night. Is not over yet because we are in extra innings. The Mets were losing 3-2 in the ninth inning. Juan Soto doing what he does in clutch moments, or as some might say, finally got his clutch moment in a Mets uniform. Hits a 3-run homer off of Raisel Iglesias. And then Devin Williams doing what he does and blowing the lead in the ninth inning, giving up a 2-run homer to Matt Olson. So we are in the 10th inning currently watching first and third with 2 outs. Somebody named Murphy on the Braves against Luis Torrens. It is an 0-2 count. Rich, we're just going to watch this because I'm not waiting until this game's over. And Luis Torrens with a rope to left field. A base hit. 1 run will score.
Luis Torrens,
second run being waved home. He will score a 2-run double for Luis Torrens, and the Mets have a 7-5 lead.
Wow.
So you might wonder why we're so excited watching this. There are stakes that actually matter. The Mets season's over. Who fucking cares? But I might win the week is where we're at, because for predictions last week, I went with 3 and 4. Rich went with 2 and 5. For 8 innings, Rich looked very right. And here we are in the 9th inning. I looked like I had a chance at a lead, at a win. And then the bottom of the 9th inning happened. And here we are in the 10th. Yeah. Rich, how are you?
I'm good. You also just want, again, the season doesn't end, or the season's over. But you do want the Juan Soto finally getting his Mets moment like a year and a half into his career to stand up. So if they can somehow hold on to this, the Soto home run still kind of matters. So that would be.
I will never remember this Juan Soto home run. It will be a meaningless home run in a meaningless season.
Sure, but these moments are the only things you really do remember from these shitty years. So I'd like to be able to hold on to that and be like, hey, he finally got that monkey off of his back.
Oh, my gosh. So this is also where we're different. He didn't have a monkey on his back, in my opinion. He had several clutch hits last year. He had several
but it's just but I'm saying nobody can say it anymore. Like, I didn't really buy into that. I would argue
you're the one that just said it, though.
I'm speaking the narrative
for everybody, for those people,
so that we can say no one can say that anymore after that. And if they lose the game anyways, it kind of gets lost to history. If they win, even though they suck, you're like, well, at least he had that really cool 3-run home run against the Braves that one time, that 1 year that they were really bad.
So then I'm not speaking to you when I say this. I will just speak to that narrative once and for all. What's the loss last year that stuck with you the most in September? You've brought it up several times. What's the at bat that bothered you the most during their collapse last year?
No, I don't remember anymor. I've whitewashed
Washington, the Nimmo at bat.
Oh yeah, I've so clearly tried to block out last year so much. Honestly, the at bat that bothered me the most last year was that Nimmo at bat. The game that bothered me the most was the game where the Nationals made all of those ridiculous fucking catches.
It's the next day.
Yeah, it was like 1 or 2 days later.
No, it was the next day. It was literally the next day. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals.
Right. It was 2 days.
They lost the Saturday game 5-3 in extra innings. Nimmo had a chance with 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, or bases loaded, nobody out.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Strikes
one
out,
and
I couldn't throw a strike. And then it was Starling Marte, I think, was up next.
I forget who got the last out in the bottom of the inning. The top of the inning, somebody on the Nationals hit an inside the park 2-run homer over Cedric Mullins' head.
Oh my God.
The reason I bring up that game is because you want to know what happened immediately before Brandon Nimmo's at bat.
What?
A game-tying base hit from Juan Soto.
That is true.
A clutch hit would have been Juan Soto's crowning moment. You know what happened 2 weeks earlier? The Mets went down 6-0 against the Marlins, and he hit 2 home runs and 5 RBIs to erase said 6-0 deficit, but his pitching staff couldn't hold the lead or make it matter, and immediately gave up a run. Remember, speaking of third base coaches who are bad, the Mets, what was that send tonight? Remember the opening weekend of the season when they lost to the Pirates in the third game of the season, and it was like, why are you sending Lindor on that play at the plate?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what was the play that he did that on?
Soto hit one in the gap, right?
It was a Juan Soto double that was supposed to tie the game, which is a clutch hit. He's had several clutch hits. He's had several big moments. We can't do this. I'm not saying you. I'm saying we collectively as a fan base have to be smarter, have to notice that clutch is not just down in the ninth inning, by a run, hitting a home run to give your team the lead, and then the score is final with that said score. He is one of the most clutch players in baseball. All of his numbers in the clutch are great. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And he's one of the best players in baseball, which we'll probably touch on a little bit later, because whenever this game ends, which it has to eventually, there is a theme to this episode. But I guess we're not getting to that yet, because
we can start it now. So the theme for this episode that we were going to do, as we're waiting for the bottom of the ninth inning, I'm assuming Brooks Raley is going to stay on to pitch the bottom of the ninth inning.
Did Weaver pitch in this game? Is he available?
Did he not? No, he's on it. Okay, the Mets.
He's on the mound now.
The Mets' best pitcher is going to pitch the bottom of the inning with a scoreless streak. I'm going to be so mad if this scoreless streak ends on an unearned run because of the inherited runner, because of the ghost runner. The theme for this episode is 6 reasons to keep watching. We're each going to list 3. Now, they can't match, and we're just going to go through them now because we're literally watching, I think, one of the reasons this season. So how are we deciding this? Who goes first? Do you want to go first?
Your choice.
My choice? Yeah, I want to go first because I've already stopped watching. I watched soccer for the first 8 innings. And the reason for me to keep watching, about as well as the Mets did for 8 innings. My number one reason to keep watching is Juan Soto, and will just continue to be for the next 13 and a half years. The fact that he's going to finish top 5 in MVP for this dog shit last place baseball team. And we'll have like a 7-WAR season on a team that probably shouldn't have a lot of 7-WAR players. Thank you for gracing this very sorry franchise with your presence. You're not doing it for free. So if anything, you're welcome that you get to do it for this franchise. As Luke Weaver gets the first out with the runner not advancing. He's so freaking good. He's going to get us such a return at the deadline. The number one and arguably one of the only reasons to keep watching the Mets this season, for me at least, Rich, is Juan Soto. And I actually have a story about that, but I want to give it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, the headline's not just Juan Soto in general, but like Juan Soto having one of the best offensive seasons potentially in Mets history is something to watch. And yeah, he'll never win MVP because the team around him is just way too bad for it. But he is without a doubt a top 5, probably a top 3 NL MVP candidate right now, despite how bad his team is around him. I'd love to see like some of the on pace numbers of just where he would stack up if you extrapolate that over 162 games compared to some of the best seasons in Mets history. I know right now, at least before tonight's game, I'm not sure what the update is, but he was leading the league in OPS. He was top 3 in many, many categories. I think he's he's top 10 in average. He's first or second in on base. He's first or second in slugging. I mean, the guy is just a fucking machine. And the downside, of course, and we're doing this to be positive and kind of talk about something a little bit differently this week than we have for the last several weeks and months. The downside, though, of course, is that the Mets are wasting an all-time great season from Juan Soto at age 27. He'll have more of these in him, but this is the part of the portion of the contract that you want to do your most winning in and take advantage of. And it is a shame that that has gone to waste, and Luke Weaver's scoreless streak is over.
So does this count because the
you can still
ghost
do
runner
like
scored?
you can still do like the earned run streak, but you can't say scoreless streak anymore.
Yeah, that's annoying. All right,
so if he
7-6.
doesn't,
They're gonna lose this game.
I mean, it'd be funnier.
It would be much funnier.
It'd be funnier,
and you're gonna win the week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather they win, but like, I don't know. Nothing can hurt me at this point.
Nothing can hurt me.
Beyond.
So I have to cross one off my list, unfortunately. Luke Weaver's scoreless streak was one of my like honorable mentions. Like, see how high this thing can get.
Well, if we get around to your next turn soon enough, you can adjust it to
earned
run streak. But that may also evaporate depending on what happens with these next couple of bat.
Ozzy Albies at the plate, runner on second after the Harris double, still one out.
Trent's just got one off the face. He looks like he's fine.
Richie, what's your number one reason to keep watching?
Ooh, I didn't.
Or just your first reason to keep watching.
Yeah, my first reason to keep watching the Mets down the stretch in 2026. I think it's just the new core, which to me right now is the Ewing Bench combination. Tonight alone, we saw Bench.
I didn't know we were allowed to do two players in one. I should have just said the outfield then.
It was a theme of.
So the young core
young guys
together, all two of them. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the two young position players that are replacing some of the position players that the team has shooed out this winter. Benj tonight hits the opposite field home run, which was really impressive. He had a great diving catch. He did kind of beef one later in the game, but it did not cost them a run. So we can forgive that one. The diving catch was awesome. Like. The diving catch was so unlikely that Gary Cohen, before the ball hit the ground, said, "That's going to fall in for a base hit." And then he goes, "Oh, no." Bench caught it. He didn't even yell because I think he was so sure that was a base hit. It was kind of a weird call, but that was great. Ewing's obviously been like super exciting to watch. They've both been very up and down, hot and cold because they're young players and they're playing on a really shitty baseball team. But, we ended an era of a core after last year. This is the start of a new one. Obviously, the team results have been bad, but the rise of those two players, I think, is absolutely something worth watching down the stretch. And, I mean, they both offer things that not many other players on this team offer right now, which is speed and quality defense. And Ozzy Albies strikes out for the second out of the night.
Eat shit, Ozzy. This is me during a watch along, by the way, folks.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while. RIP playback.
Well, I've been watching on StreamYard for the last 10 weeks. So
yeah, for baseball.
This is me on a watch along for it's because I don't usually do watch alongs anymore with games that don't have a clock. Like it's technically this has a clock now. You've taken now number 2 and number 3 of my reasons to keep watching because I agree with you.
I apologize.
Both Carson Benj and AJ. The Mets outfield is the reason to keep watching. Honestly, it's the thing that is solidified. They have answers in this outfield. They might have answers in the rotation with Scott and McLean. I'll just say that would be my I'll say the young pitching core next, but I will stick to just Nolan McLean because I have more questions. Nolan McLean, when he's right, will be my second reason to keep watching. So once every 5 days, you get hopefully a good start from. I don't even know if I could say he's like the ace in the making, like he's the future ace. He's the future top of the rotation starter. He could be a number 2. He could be a number 1. He could end up being a number 3. I have a lot of questions about Nolan McLean, but he would be my second reason to keep watching. This young core, those 4 guys plus Soto are the thing to keep watching for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's been a rocky up and down. I mean, just like the two position players, very up and down for McLean this year. It's been moments where, he has a game where he looks like he did last year, and then you're like, all right, we're back. And then the next game, it's like he wasn't so great. Had a not great first inning in his last start, but then didn't give up anything after that. So that was encouraging. You just hope to see him continue to figure things out and, watch him develop in real time, I think is a reason to watch. And sometimes that's not going to be super fun. And then other times it's going to be pretty exciting. Last night was kind of both of those things, or yesterday afternoon. And yeah, I mean, that leads me into my second one, which is the rise of the other pitcher. It's just Christian Scott, who...
Oh, you get an extra challenge in extras.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, okay. So it's a 2-0 pitch that was called the ball. Oh!
Wow.
Luis Torrens! Okay. The call is overturned. It's a 2-1 count. All right.
Luis Torrens might single-handedly win the Mets this game in the 10th inning.
Literally. He's going to make Soto's only clutch hit ever stand up, apparently.
I'm gonna pause my next
let's
watch this last.
It's Christian Scott.
That was a strike too. He's challenging again.
He's challenging it again. Come on, Louis. Is this umpire another one that's going to be put out to pasture? I mean, retire. Nailed it. Luis Torrens.
Back to back. Make
Honestly,
it 3 in a row.
No matter where this pitch is, challenge it. If it's at his eyes, challenge it. When you're hot, Luis.
That was the exact same pitch and location back to back.
Let's go.
2-2
pitch to Mateo from Weaver.
Up by a run.
Somehow, without syncing, I think we synced up outside. But
good take.
Challenge it. Challenge it.
You might need it on the next pitch.
Yeah, I know exactly. All right.
Who's up after Mateo?
The 5-hitter, which I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't want to look at the box score.
Yeah. I also the chat spoiled the Harris double for me, so I'm not looking.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the chat either.
Oh, he went. He went.
He swing.
Oh, blue.
Oh boy. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hide the chat for myself.
What's your talk about Christian Scott while we prepare for this at bat?
My second reason to keep watching is the rise of Christian Scott, who, look, maybe we didn't think a ton about Christian Scott coming into this season. We knew at some point he would come up. I thought it was going to be June or July. He wound up coming up late in April, I think. And the whole year was about Nolan McLean taking the reins as the young ace of this team. But, what if it winds up being Christian Scott and we just didn't see it coming because you kind of forget about these guys when they get hurt and it just turns into an out of sight, out of mind situation. And I mean, aside from Clay Holmes, who broke his leg, Christian Scott, crazily enough, has been the Mets' best starting pitcher this season and the most consistent, despite the little short-lived injury that he suffered. I'm really excited to watch him continue to develop at the big league level. The strikeouts are awesome. He's got great stuff, a lot of life on the pitches. We talk about it a lot, but like there's a lot of young Zach Wheeler comps there. The velocity's up there. I got to watch him in person about a week ago against the Phillies, which was really cool. And he could have gone deeper into that game if not for the pitch count. And the Mets win the ball game.
I have won the week, folks.
Answer has won the week. The Mets somehow split a 4-game series with the Braves.
The point differential in this series was like advantage Braves by a lot. And the Mets won 2 one-run games in which they scored 17 runs in both of the games.
And how many runs did the Mets give up in the 9th inning of those 2 games that they won?
Gosh.
Although how many runs did the Mets score in those 2 9th innings?
That's also true. Yeah, they scored 5 in the 9th inning yesterday. So if you add extras,
3 tonight.
If you're just doing extras, the Mets scored 5 tonight and 5 yesterday. So 10. So the 9th in extras, I'm saying. So 5 in the 9th yesterday, 5 in the 9th and 10th today. So 10 in the last 2 innings, the last 2 games. And then the Braves scored 6 in the 9th, 1 in the 10th, 7 in the, geez, what a baseball game. All right. The Mets are on a winning streak, folks. Happy recap. Here we come. I am happy Christian Scott provided what is hopefully some answers to the rotation, because seeing what David Peterson became just left a gigantic question mark of, I don't know how many dependable starting pitchers we have in this rotation anymore. Obviously, we know what Kodai Senga is. Ironically, Sean Manaea, he's not one of my things to watch, but has at least made himself like, I think he's gonna have his ERA go down because of a scoring change in the next week or so when they turn that Tyrone Taylor dropped pop up into an error, right?
An
But like
egregious decision
right, like
by
the base is cleared, right? Like I didn't understand why that wasn't. It was literally off his glove. Usually, if it touches glove, it becomes an error no matter what.
Yeah, not a tough play either.
Point being, I think Manaea has added some stability to at least like the 5th starter spot. So if you're looking for holes to fill in the Mets organization and with the 26-man roster, I think the number 1 in the rotation, wherever you put McLean, if he's 1, then you need a 2. I think Christian Scott is like a solid number 3. Reminds me, you said Zach Wheeler. I'm actually more of the mindset of like Chris Bassett, like that one season where he just like chucked and won 15 games for the Mets, like a solid game 3 starter. I know the game 3 he started for the Mets wasn't great, but a number 3 starter is what I look at with Christian Scott. And it at least allows you to look at your rotation and say, we have 2 of the top 3 spots filled. We can hopefully we get something. We get somebody to fill the top, which maybe that's the big lefty in Detroit. But we'll see what happens. All right. My last reason to keep watching. So I've got some awards odds for you, Rich. If you're looking at the MLB awards today on July 6th, 2026, the American League MVP odds, Yordan Alvarez is currently the front runner for MVP. Bobby Witt Jr. is currently second in MVP odds. And then Aaron Judge is in there, but it's still a long shot. And I don't think he's going to end up winning it this year for the first time in several years. The Mets will play against the Astros, and they will play against Bobby Witt this week. In fact, tomorrow, maybe tonight, by the time you're listening to this or watching this. So you'll get your chance to keep watching because you'll get to see the Mets affect the American League MVP race because their pitching has been so bad that you know that these guys are going to see the Mets pitching staff and feast. We just had a conversation about their pitching staff. Only 2 guys are dependable, and they have hiccups all the time. So you're going to see Bobby Witt or Yordan Alvarez, but don't you worry. Just wait until we get to the National League awards race. You know what happens on the other side of the All-Star break? Shohei Ohtani comes to town. Kyle Schwarber will face the Mets again this year. He already has 11 home runs against the Mets this season. Don't look it up. It's close to right.
I was going to say, wait.
The Mets have a chance to affect the National League MVP race just by playing against these guys and allowing them to inflate their stats. And if that doesn't tickle your fancy, Rich MacLeod, they also will be facing the front runners for the American League Cy Young potentially when Cam Schlittler, Jacob deGrom face the Mets in the second half of the season. And then in the National League, they have 2 series against the Brewers, so they might get to face Jacob. What is that his first name? Jake Mizorowski?
Jake Mizorowski.
Jake, yeah. It's not Jacob. Sorry. All Jakes are Jacob, in my opinion. Jake Mizorowski. They're going to face Paul Skeens. They're going to face Chris Sale again, probably when they play the Braves. So they're also going to affect their lineup. Sans Soto is going to also have a chance to help inflate the National League Cy Young race and the American League Cy Young race.
Christopher Sanchez, I'm not sure if you mentioned
I didn't even mention him. That's right. He got shelled by the Royals tonight.
Yeah, he got his tits lit today.
And the Mets actually kind of light him up anytime they play him. Regardless, we're looking at the Mets' chances to affect the awards races, the 4 major awards races in both leagues. If that's not something to keep watching for, I don't know what is, Rich MacLeod.
So essentially for you, it's like in either a positive way or a negative way. Like if the Mets perform really well, they could also be little stinkers and spoil it. But I think you're saying
that's what I meant. Yeah,
you're definitely saying the opposite thing of the Mets might let these guys fluff their numbers up against them, like what PCA did to them a week ago.
Right.
Or what Kyle Schwarber seems to always do against
I'm
them.
just saying, if you are a Mets fan and you are a fan of baseball history, you are going to have your chance to see the next winner of all 4 of these major awards face the Mets. And the Mets will affect how those players either improve or ruin those resumes for said next award at some point in the second half of the season. So tune in, folks.
Okay. My last one is a little bit of a cheat, but my last reason to continue to watch the Mets down the stretch of this season is to soak up as much Howie Rose as you can get left, because unfortunately, this is Howie Rose's final season calling games for the New York Mets. Unfortunately, they are going out this way, so his broadcast career will come to a close at the end of September for sure at this point, which means we only have less than 80 games left, and even less than that because he's not doing every away game for the rest of the season. That's been something that we've seen the last couple of years because of his age and his health. And I would just say, like, throw it on the radio. If you have MLB TV, switch the audio feed and watch the game and sync it up. Do whatever you got to do, because the end of a legendary run is closer than we want it to be. And, you know, the Mets aren't giving us a season where, you know, he'll get to ride off into the sunset, but I want to definitely listen to as much Howie Rose left as I can, because once he's gone, he's gone. And, you know, I'll pine for the days of sitting around in the summertime and just listening to Howie in the car with my dad as a kid, or, you know, syncing up the radio to the TV during the playoffs like I did every single night in 2024. Like, those are core memories for me. And it's sad that to see that's going to be going away. So personally, I want to soak in as much of that as I can. And I think that every Mets fan should, because we got like 3 months left. And after that, it's gone. And, you know, what do they say about things in life that are like, it's beautiful because it's not forever? I guess that's the sentiment I take away here is, you know, take it in for as long as we can, because there's not much left.
It's the Andy Bernard quote from The Office. I wish you knew you were in the good old days before you've already left them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't made the switch yet to start like solely listening to Howie. I think that's like a project I'll probably pursue post Fanatics Fest, but mostly post All-Star break when I have more time and things are more settled down in my life. Yeah, I mean, look, that was the obvious third one. I wanted to make sure. I knew you wanted to I wanted to make sure that whenever we talked about Howie, it was with a serious tone, and the voice of not just my childhood but my adulthood is no longer going to be calling Mets games. The first Mets games I started listening to with my grandma when they were on UPN back in the day. Had Howie Rose on the call with Fran Haley doing color commentary, with Ralph Kiner chiming in every now and then. So, yeah, to get as much Howie Rose as you can before it's gone. Shall we go through our categories, Rich? Unless you have anything else to say before we move on.
I just wanted to throw out an honorable mention of reasons to watch, because I didn't want to put this as an actual reason, because the purpose of that exercise was to give a little bit of positivity, even though your last one, not so positive.
I don't have it. I gave the most positive thing you could. Baseball history will be affected by the New York Mets in the second half of the season.
Yes. But my honorable mention one is a little bit cheekier, and it's that you're going to see, if you keep watching the Mets down the stretch for the rest of the season, you're going to see them invent some new ways to lose that you've never thought possible before. And the creativity in that alone, I think, is worth the price of admission. I thought of that one in the midst of them blowing the game tonight, which of course they did ultimately win. that was a late addition to my notes. But I thought of it because I got a lot of texts of like, doesn't it feel like a walk-off balk is about to happen? Like, which has happened in Atlanta to the Mets before.
It has. There's the lefty that had the headgear was the
DJ Carrasco.
Yeah, DJ Carrasco. He got hit in the head with a line drive, and then he wore one of those helmets with the padding on it, which, like, fine, you need it for protection. Doesn't mean it didn't.
That was Alex Torres.
Oh, so it was a different guy. So DJ Carrasco was a different
DJ Carrasco was before. That was before because Alex Torres was either on the 2015 or 2016 team. This was before that.
I just remember the walk-off balk being the funniest thing of the season. Yes, I agree.
And I remember Anthony DiComo tweeted moments before, like, the Mets had set some kind of they were about to finish the season without ever balking, and then they balked.
That wasn't that though. That wasn't that
different balk.
It was a different balk because that one happened middle of this, like early in the season when there were still reasons to watch, and then they had made it to the either final weekend or final game of the season when DiComo tweeted out the stat about the balk.
I'm mixing up my famous Mets
moments later. Well, listen, I mixed up DJ Carrasco and the other guy that wore the headgear.
Alex Torres,
the joke I was just simply making was like, I'm glad you wore the thing that was protective. It doesn't mean I didn't laugh every time you walked to the mound, got shelled, giving up 4 or 5 runs, and it's like, but at least your head's protected, buddy.
Yeah.
Point is,
David Wright wore the Great Gazoo helmet.
That was 2009. I'll never forget that. He got hit in the head by Matt Cain. And they showed up with the biggest helmet I've ever seen in my life. It was like 3 helmets in one. And it's like, guys, we look like a circus at the moment. I hate this ballpark. It's too big. The fences are too far back or too high. And my captain, or not captain at the time, but my third baseman looks like a Flintstones character. Or I guess not Flintstones, a Jetsons character.
No, Great Gazoo was...
Is that Flintstones or Jetsons?
Isn't it Looney Tunes?
You're talking about the guy with the big
alien.
head. Yeah, the green alien. I think that was Looney Tunes. I thought that was... Or is that Scooby? Oh, you've got it on the screen here. I'm going to look it up.
This is for those watching us on the YouTube, this is the immortal David Wright giant helmet from 2000. I mean, look.
Flintstones.
You get hit in the head. Flintstones. You get hit in the head with a 90-something mile an hour fastball. Like, you'd never see me step up to the plate again. So if that was what David Wright needed for a couple of weeks to mentally feel better about it, then okay. But man, looking back on it, it looks like a little kid put on his dad's helmet. That's what it looks like. This podcast is all over the place.
Shall we go through our categories, Rich?
Yes.
Okay. So our first category is a curtain call given out to a player, coach, or entity that was so good this week that they needed to go out to the top step and tip their cap to the crowd that may not exist much in the second half of the season unless they want to go see the Mets affect the awards races in the American League and National League. I won the week, so I get to go first and just say Juan Soto is a New York Met. And quite literally Saturday night of the 4th of July, had a nice day with my parents out in Suffolk County, spent some time in the pool. It was also very hot, so humidity plus chlorine means Andrew was very tired, and I put on the game with my parents, and we're in the house I grew up in, and I said, let me just watch Soto's at bat, and then we can put on a movie. Now, I passed out as soon as Soto's at bat happened, so I didn't even get to watch the 14-3 massacre, which might be the Mets' last loss of the season. Let's see what happens. But that's how much of a priority like Soto at bats have become. Mm-hmm. And this past week, I mean, really the past 3 months, he's been must-see baseball. So shout out Juan Soto. You're my curtain call for this week, and there's a chance you're my curtain call for the rest of the season when I get to choose.
Yeah, it's the obvious candidate. There is no great runner-up on offense. And pitching, you know, most guys only made about a start in this past week. I'll give it to Lindor. He wasn't amazing. He did go 0 for 5 on Monday night, so that's going to affect it. But he did have a 132 WRC plus for the past week before tonight's game. He hit a couple of home runs, 3 RBIs, scored 5 runs, played pretty good defense over that span as well. Also, when did Francisco Lindor's hair get this long? I feel like I didn't notice that until tonight. It looks like he looks almost like a different dude.
Yeah, I noticed it when he was leading off for the game on NBC on Sunday.
Okay.
And I was just like, what is this? Like, who are you?
I thought he was somebody. I thought it was somebody else for a second.
Right. It's a new style. Like,
yeah,
respect.
I've no like opinion pro or con about it. I was just like, he's had basically like the same ish hairstyle for the entire time he's been here, or at least the same hair length. So I was just like, wait, who's this guy with the long hair?
There was the 2 stretches where he had his hair somewhat buzzed. Like during the 2024 run, he had no hair. Like it was short, a shorter style. Ironically, that's the season he was an MVP candidate. One might never want to switch it up again, but he's grown it out pretty much since then. It looks like.
What was the year he had the blue hair? Was that 2021 when
that's 2023
was here?
No, so he might have had long hair and might have had. I remember 2023 when he had the walk-off hit against the Guardians, and it was like Lindor walks off Cleveland, and the helmet didn't stay on his way to first base. Could have swore his hair was blue by the time he got to first base. Look, this is why Soto hates him, because he can never figure out what hair he has at any point, and that's clearly the reason for their rift that people want to keep talking about. Juan Soto, bravo, by the way, breaking attention with like the most ridiculous response to.
Do you have the quote?
The quote was, I don't have it by heart if you want to look it up, but if I remember it right, it was, when you meet a girl, you don't immediately start kissing them.
Pretty much. He said there were no issues last year at all. We didn't have any beef or anything. Our relationship is getting better because it takes time. When you meet a girl, you don't start kissing her right away.
Right. Like, this now confirms what I said last week when, Steve Cohen, or I guess Thursday, Steve Cohen said there was an issue between Soto and Lindor. Like, that was a last year thing. I really think it was media driven by why aren't they best friends? This is Jeter and A-Rod all over again. These are 2 guys in 2 different points in their life. Lindor changes his hair every week.
Jeter really didn't like A-Rod.
Oh, Jeter also hated A-Rod.
Talked it out, yeah.
Right. So there was actually, maybe it's not Jeter A-Rod, because there was actual beef going on there. And now they're colleagues on TV all the time.
Big Papi.
With Big Papi. We'll never stop being funny.
Yankees lose.
We'll never stop being funny. They won today.
They won today.
No, they're now 2-9 in their last 11 games. It'll never stop being funny that Big Papi has been allowed to turn the Yankees into a punchline on a national scale. But again, we're rooting for New York now, because go New York, go New York, go. Shout out to the Knicks.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Maybe I'm doing that. But anyway, time to give out a El Stinko for the week. Yes. Rich, you get to go first. This is somebody who was so bad this week that Keith Hernandez looked into the camera and just pointed at the screen and said, El Stinko. Rich, who's your El Stinko?
The result of tonight's game nearly had me pick somebody else. All that being said, today's game still impacted it because Freddie Peralta, you son of a bitch. He was awful against the Blue Jays last week. Absolutely terrible. I think he gave up, how many runs did he give up in that game? 6 runs. Pitched like 3 2/3. I think gave up 6 runs against Toronto. Terrible. Not great on Monday either. He does only technically give up 1 earned run because I think a hit eventually got retroactively ruled an error, and that saved a couple of those runs. He gives up 3 total runs, 1 earned. Both of his starts. It's funny because I said the 5-frame Freddie thing a few weeks ago. He didn't even go 5 innings in either of his last 2 starts. He has a 4.68 ERA on the season. It's not good enough. Not good enough to the point where you'll get something for him. You'll probably get something nice for him because starting pitching markets aren't what they used to be, and people are desperate. But you could have gotten a hell of a lot more if he didn't have an ERA that was close to 5. So, yeah, it's who cares about the wins and losses at this point? Like that, we're at that point of the year already, but it is negatively impacting his trade value. And I'm just kind of tired of watching it. Look, you go back to opening day when he gave up the home run in the first day. Like there was omens right away that it was just like not gonna work for Freddie Peralta here for some reason. I don't even think it's like a mental thing. Like he doesn't look like a guy who's skittish to me. It's just for whatever reason, things are just not coming together for him, and it's just like a tough watch. And you're hurting the trade value, dude. Come on, man. Like give us 2 good starts in a row so we can, swindle somebody and sell high. Freddie Peralta, El Stinko.
Freddie Peralta, I maintain I think he's going to end up being a qualifying offer guy. That's how this ends. I know what Paston said that I don't think he's. I think there's value in keeping him in the qualifying offer path, and I don't think they're going to get. I mean, look, I saw the Paston tweet. They're 90% going to trade him. I just don't know what the move is. Like, is somebody going to give you a top 10 prospect for 2 months of this pitcher?
Counterpoint, like I totally get that. And look, this year's starting pitching market may be very different from last year's. The best starting pitcher that got traded last year in July was Merrill Kelly. And he got a pretty good return and was not very good for the Rangers down the stretch. If Freddie Peralta, by name value alone, he might be the best starting pitcher available, at least by name value, this deadline. History would tell you that they might get more than they should based on his numbers, but it could be better if he wasn't pitching this shitty.
Right. If performance aside, if you're telling me that he can get you to 1 to 2 top 10 prospects, then all right, I'm in. I don't know what the package is going to be. The return's going to be.
You got a 14th ranked prospect for David Peterson.
Hey, that's a one-off though. Like that's if that's what you're saying is that that's an indicator of
like how hard it is to get starting pitchers. Yeah.
And to be clear, they got a guy that was he the Cubs 14th ranked prospect or he become the Mets 14th ranked?
He was the Cubs 13th ranked prospect. He's now the Mets 14th ranked prospect.
Oh, I didn't realize he was. Wow, I didn't even realize that. I thought they got like the Cubs 25th or 30th ranked prospect. And the Mets.
This is by MLB.com, so obviously. Like other.
Yeah, but that's still a thing.
Yeah,
like,
other websites will have different rankings.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, look, maybe this does end with him. Well, so good news, Rich. You're probably only going to have a couple more weeks of Freddie Peralta. One of my honorable mentions, I went through the giveaways for the rest of the year. Freddie Peralta bobblehead day is July 25th. It'd be very funny if he gets traded like before his bobblehead day, and you're just left with 10,000 people getting a bobblehead for a player that doesn't play for the Mets anymore.
Well, I have a feeling the player you're going to pick for El Stinko is having a jersey giveaway this weekend. So I'm going to throw it over to you and see if you pick who I think you're going to pick.
Is Devin Williams having a jersey giveaway this weekend?
According to my dad in the comments, yes. Dear.
Okay. So Devin Williams gets my El Stinko. I'm just going to read his numbers since game 3 of the NLDS wild card in Milwaukee.
Oh, boy.
For the Yankees, he had 62 innings. Gave up 5 home runs and a 4.79 ERA. With the Mets, 29 innings, 3 home runs, a 4.85 ERA.
Does that include tonight?
Yes, it includes tonight. He's ERA, according to, I think so. This is according to MLB.com. Maybe that's gone up. Maybe this is going into tonight what he had. The point I'm trying to make, I know that a lot of second guessing has been done of David Stearns, and some of it has felt disingenuous because a lot of people were projecting. I was certainly projecting the Mets to be very good going into this season. I thought, you know what, change is good. Why not? Let's see if these projection models and the Kenny Atkinson world is correct and they're all right. The thing I never believed in was Devin Williams, and the fact that this ends up being what I was forced to root for. Not something I ever wanted, not something I ever thought was a good idea, but his redemption story having to be in a Mets uniform is both the incorrect decision and an easy first guess, and just not reading the room and not having a heartbeat in how you make decisions to employ your baseball team. Because, yeah, best case scenario, he turns it around, and I'm stuck watching the guy that I only want to remember him for an iconic Mets playoff moment. But worst case scenario, that I'm stuck watching him still be bad, and I don't get to enjoy that other moment anymore because it's the worst moment of his career. So, as far as I'm concerned, this season from hell never happened. And the only time I will ever mention Devin Williams in the same sentence as the word Mets is because of game 3 of the 2024 NLDS when Pete Alonso took him deep. You want to know another opponent you could watch in the second half of the season? In September, the Orioles come to Citi Field. There. I hope he takes Devin Williams deep that game.
He might.
He might.
Would you believe that tonight's Monday night's finale against the Braves was only Devin Williams' second blown save this year?
So
because it sure doesn't feel that way.
I had lunch with Benji Ritholtz today, and he was like, they really have, and Luke Weaver's in the 8th inning, right? So yeah, they still got Williams closing. I was like, yeah, but they're never winning. So it's not like he's ever on for a save. But yes, like I can actually believe that it's only his second blown save because like they're never winning. So he's never on for a save, you know? Yeah. And I got to be honest, this was rent due tonight because he was supposed to blow yesterday, which would have been the funniest loss in Mets history.
Yeah, we didn't even talk that much about the fact that the Mets had a 7-run lead in the 9th inning on Saturday and were 90 feet away or a single base hit away. And wasn't it Dom Smith?
It was Dom Smith. I was staring. It was 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs for Dom Smith, staring at the hole between short and third. It's like, yep, it's a ground ball, Dom. That's all you got to do. I have a story to tell about that game. So,
okay,
one of my friends, my buddy Justin, never bet. Not like from a principled standpoint. Just might not be dumb enough to might be too dumb to like operate the app, right? So finally figured out, you know what? I'm so mad at the Mets. I'm going to bet against them in this game. And he picked the Braves money line at plus 200 when the Mets went up 5-3. And I was like, you know what, Justin? I'll tail it with you. And we both wrote it out and said, all right, we'll pick Mets money line. It was Braves money line plus 200. We'll see how this goes. We count on the Mets to blow this game. So, yes, we bet against the Mets yesterday. Okay, so that's the lead into this. It was $10 to win $30. It's 5-3 the entire game, Rich. Like, nothing changed. And we're just like, okay, what's going to happen? 9th inning happens. Cookie Carrasco's on. I'm watching the cash out go from $10 to $4 to $1 to 1 penny. And I'm like, all right, we're going to lose this. When I tell you, watching that 9th inning, staring at like the cash out value suddenly change because the Mets are this close to blowing a 10-3 lead. It was the most roller coaster of emotions for me, and like just from a gambling standpoint, but for my friend that has never bet before, right? And that's his first experience. And it's like, oh, I almost lost. I thought I was going to win, but I'm going to lose because the Mets are up 10-3. Oh, my gosh, I might actually win. To, of course, the Mets win this game. Like, hold on to win this game. And then Devin Williams blows it the next day. Yeah, we joked around in the group chat. So did you bet the Mets tonight? Is that what happened? So
that is hilarious. I also do wonder if Weaver stays on the team, which Chelsea Janes from SNY implied that Mets seem like they're not trying to trade him. It doesn't mean that they won't, but because he's got that extra year of control. If he sticks around, at what point does Luke Weaver become the closer? Does that happen at any point this year? I think could be an interesting thing to watch. He has an ERA under 2 now. Got his first save of the year tonight. He's been a little bit wild tonight, but overall has been, what can you say? He hasn't given up an earned run since the end of the end of April.
I'm not letting go of his scoreless streak just yet. I know it's so what's it called? Aaron in the someone in the comments, Armand in the comments, Dan Bartles, Luke Weaver scoreless streak, a scoreless outings streak. I hate how he worded that. At 23 straight across 25 and a third innings. Mark Guthrie still holds the Mets franchise record for 33 consecutive scoreless outings, 27 innings in 2002. I'm keeping this one alive. Mark Guthrie never had to deal with a ghost runner. All right. So as far as I'm concerned, the streak lives on. And he got the save tonight, Luke Weaver.
He did get the save.
Yeah. I remember that Guthrie streak.
I
want to say it ended against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
You have crazy recall to the point
where
I would.
You know what?
That.
So 2002 was the infamous, like, it was they traded for Roberto Alomar, they traded for Mo Vaughn, they traded for Jeremy Burnitz. They put a bullpen together of David Weathers, Graham Lloyd, like former Yankee Graham Lloyd, former Yankee David Weathers, Mark Guthrie. So do you know who the Mets traded for Mark Guthrie?
No idea.
They traded David Justice from Mark Guthrie to the Athletics. Do you know how they got David Justice? They traded him from the Yankees. Who they traded to the Yankees was Robin Ventura.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's the other
Kevin Bacon kind of thing.
Here's the other connection I'll make. They traded David Justice to the 2002 Athletics, who were then featured in both the book and the movie Moneyball, in which Royce Clayton plays David Justice, who's only there because of Billy Beane, who in the movie says, let's go get David Justice from New York. And that's the trade that got David Justice to the Oakland Athletics in 2002. Wow. I'm going to look up the 2002 Mets. If I'm right about this streak, I guess Mark Guthrie is what I have to look up. And then we could do predict. In fact, I'll let you introduce this. I'll look this up. Predictions for the upcoming week, Rich MacLeod.
Yeah. So last week, Andrews won 3 weeks in a row now.
Hell yeah.
I wonder with baseball and maybe this particular Mets team, it's just like a severe advantage for the guy who wins, because I had a 10 weeks winning streak. Andrew's now on 3 straight. Although funny enough, these often seem like they do come down to the last day of the week.
It's the best part.
We literally small margin.
Watched live me win the week.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, I picked 2. It's funny because I forgot what I picked because it was the Diamondbacks.
Arizona Diamondbacks.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Gave up a 3-run home run to the Arizona. I'm going to say it was Luis Gonzalez that hit the home run. They lost 12-7 in this game. Mark Guthrie gave up a 3-run homer to Luis Gonzalez in the 7th inning. There you go. Listen, this is right before the losing streak that we talked about during April. They lost like 11 in a row during this season. Jeez. They didn't win a home game in August. That's also what I remember. So,
oof.
Yeah.
Like the one Mets recall thing I got you on, and might be the last one for a while, is Alex Torres. You couldn't.
You got that one. The guy with the helmet.
I got that one on you. And that's it. That's all it's gonna be.
There you go.
But yeah, last week you originally picked 2 and 5, then you switched
to 3 and 4.
And in my brain, I forgot that part. So you picked 3 and 4, which winds up being correct. Yet another week where it looked like there was no way that was going to happen, and then it happens at the end. I picked 2 and 5, so Andrews won 3 straight weeks, which means he gets to choose first again. What do we got this upcoming
3 and 3
week?
3 and 3. I think they lose. I think they take 2 out of 3 from the Royals. Reunion game on Tuesday night in which they face Seth Lugo. And then Nolan McLean against Sonny Gray on Friday night could be fun. And then I think they lose 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox. So 3 and 3.
All 6 games at home, no off days. They go straight into the All-Star break. Yeah, Devin Williams replica jersey night is on Saturday afternoon. Fireworks night is on the Friday before. Fireworks night is any night that Devin Williams take the mound.
Well done, Rich.
Yeah, you're picking 3 and 3. I'll pick. I guess I'll pick 2 and 4.
It's a smart play.
Just can't pick a winning week right now. I know that they just like it is somewhat impressive that they split against the Braves, and funny enough, they have a winning record against the Braves right now. Not by much, but by a game for the season. But yeah, I gotta go 2 and 4.
Brad here. 8-game winning streak coming, boys.
Well,
that would
got
put
what,
them at 7
2?
games under if they do it. No. That would put them at 9 games under if they do it. They'd be 44 and 53.
They're so bad. There's so
They
many
are bad.
games under 500.
I'll say this, Brad. They go into the All-Star break on an 8-game winning streak. They have a gauntlet waiting for them on the other side with Philly, LA, Milwaukee, and then another good team on the other side of that, I think.
By the way, they have the weirdest fucking schedule coming out of the All-Star break because All-Star break starts Monday. So home run derby's Monday, All-Star game's Tuesday, Wednesday's just a straight day off. Normally you would also get that Thursday off. They play Thursday. I assume this is World Cup related.
World Cup, yeah. The semifinal is Friday, the final is Sunday.
So they play Thursday coming out of the All-Star break. Then they're off on Friday and then play 2 more in Philly, 3 at Milwaukee off, and then 3 versus the Dodgers, 3 versus the Braves, and then a Marlins series to close out the month.
Marlins are one of the best teams in that bunch.
Isn't this the second year in a row that the Marlins were like the best team in baseball in June? Wasn't that kind of what they did last year?
Yeah, they had that Yankee sweep. I know the Yankee sweep was actually in August because it was over my birthday, and I was like, "Oh, happy birthday to me!"
There you go.
Back to back when I hated the Yankees. Now go New York, go New York, go. One comment
that's gonna wear off.
Listen, I had lunch with Benji today, and I told him I think you guys are trapped. Like I have so much freedom watching the Mets where I can laugh off potential 7-run collapses. They're stuck with this team that is ass, but they're the second best team in the league, right? Like,
yeah,
they also have built-in reasons with the injuries. Doesn't change the fact that Yankee fans feel like they're in a simulation. So you want to talk about reasons to watch, Rich? There's freedom. And like you said, new ways to lose. I'm able to laugh off games like this. Oh, LOL, Devin Williams. Oh, that would have been a funny 9th inning collapse, but they won. Great.
The last 2 games that the Mets played this week, if this was like if this was last year, living and dying, especially with them being in that ballpark, in Atlanta, I would have been fucking like hiding under my couch feeling sick. Now I'm like, I don't care what like I hope that they win, but if they lose, like, okay, I'll go watch something else after. Like, I'll be fine.
How about this for irony? Like, they just had 2 pretty good wins against the Braves. Doesn't matter at all. Like, just won 2 big, like, impressive wins in not Turner Truist, I think is what it's called. Marjorie Taylor Greene Ballpark, whatever. Like, the Atlanta suburb, Cobb County Park. Okay, I'm never learning the name of it. It's Turner Field forever.
Truist Park.
They just had like 2 impressive wins in Atlanta.
Truth Social Park.
Doesn't true. Now we're talking. Anyway,
did you see the sea of white men with no shirts on during the broadcast tonight?
I did. What was that about?
I have no idea. I don't think I want to know.
That felt like we couldn't afford soccer tickets, so we went to the baseball game.
Probably.
It's literally what it looked like, and then they got to watch the Mets either way.
One thing on the Yankees really quick.
Yeah.
They have the same season every fucking year. Every April to May, they're the best. Everybody's way over their heads performance-wise. Ben Rice hits 40 home runs in a week. Like Cody Bellinger's an MVP. A million things go right, and then everybody's like, "This is the best team in baseball. They're going to win the World Series." Then June, July rolls around. They are the worst team in baseball. Everybody gives up on them. John Boy melts down. They light their office on fire. Then what happens by August, September? They finish the year strong. They somehow either win the division or come this close to winning it. They make the playoffs, and then some stupid shit happens at some point in the postseason, whether it's the first or second round, or they win a few rounds, and then it happens later on. It's the same every year, and it will never change until I see something different. I text my friend who is a Yankees fan this, where they get off to the great start. I'm like, cool. They're not the 98 Yankees because you're going to text me in July and say you hate this team, and then in September you're going to say they're going to win the World Series. It's just every single year is the same. It's kind of I would think I would go in like obviously the life of a Yankee fan is so much better than the life of a Mets fan. It's like that
less
meme
freedom
of like that meme of like the bloody Jesus talking to like
Mel
the guy,
Gibson.
to Mel Gibson. But I think there would be a unique sensation of feeling like an insane person just watching the exact same season play out that many years in a row. That would kind of drive me nuts.
Like I said, they're living in a simulation. Like it just repeats over and over again. And look, I listened to Jimmy and Jake's pod yesterday after the loss of the Twins, and yeah, it's just like the rinse repeat. Like, why is this our life every single season? So, yeah. Shout out to BBD. I'll see him at Fanatics Fest. Nice. 2 comments before we get out of here. Aaron Dorman, Mark Vientos with an 850 OPS against lefties. Some teams view him as a platoon masher. Why aren't the Mets using him like this? Vientos fits the matchup mold better than freaking Eric Wagaman. I feel like they have been using him as a lefties only guy.
For the most part.
He gets pinch hit with Eric Young anytime a righty comes in now. Maybe that was a Mendoza thing. What would I say?
Eric Young.
Oh, wow.
Another former
Brave, too.
Eric Young Jr.
Yeah. He gets pinch hit with Jared Young anytime Vientos, a righty, comes up. At least now. Yeah, look, my issue with Vientos is so far away from his bat. He's one of the worst hitters in baseball.
See that
get him away from
play?
Just get him away from the field, man. Every play is a risk of a comedy routine. Like, it's just not worth it anymore. This isn't even a Pete Alonso thing. This isn't even a you should have went out and got a real first baseman thing. Just stop making Mark Vientos. It's Mean Girls. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Like, he's not a first baseman. He's not a fielder at this point. We got lucky and struck gold getting to the NLCS with him playing third base. You're not going to strike gold again. He should not have a glove, like, at all in his house, in his life. He should just have a bat. Please. How am I smarter than you on this?
We're going to look back at how did a team that got to the NLCS, like, how was Mark Vientos the starting third base? Like, the same way that we look at how did Lucas Duda play the outfield for like 2 straight years?
I knew you were going right there. Not just 2 straight years.
In a no-hitter.
Johan Santana no-hitter.
All 9 innings, and he played right field.
Yep.
And thank God he played right. Thank God he played right field, because Mike Baxter was in left field, and Lucas Duda would have gotten anywhere near that ball.
Exactly. Yeah. Last comment from Madeline, I think, is a good Madeline, I should say. Madeline Schmidt. Great win. Even though we are done, we stuck it to Atlanta. You know what? Great attitude. Rich wanted this to be a positive episode. That is a great place to end this episode. Sticking it to Atlanta.
It's the opposite of last year, right? The Mets were like good or competitive, and the Braves were terrible, and the Braves stuck it to us last year, and any of those wins could have, made it, or any of those losses to the Braves could have made a difference. The Braves are going to make the playoffs this year, but what is so funny?
The way you said good was like, there's so much emphasis on a team that was like very good last year until they weren't,
Yeah, like I don't know I don't know what to call it. They were competitive.
They were good.
Competing for a playoff
when they
spot.
played in Atlanta, they were good. They had the best record in baseball the first time they played in Atlanta, and then the pitching issues started. I'll never forget that first series in Atlanta where the Braves lined up their starters. They swept the Mets, lined up their starters. Chris Sale broke a rib trying to go 9 against the Mets. And I just was like, this is the Braves that are selling out for a June midweek series. I thought you guys were above this. And the Mets were like, yeah, our pitching's injured. We got Paul Blackburn pitching. Have your win. I just hang the banner, Atlanta. You swept the Mets in June. And here we are. We're not going to hang a banner for taking 2 out of 4 from you because you didn't really take 2 out of 4. But like, we're just going to take these as 2 fun wins, as Madeline said. We stuck it to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Rinse, like moving on, like, on to Kansas City at this point. That was just a very funny series last year. Yeah. Okay. This is what happens when you start a podcast during a game and close to 11 p.m. I hope that was coherent enough for all of you. I will also say, because of my NBA and Knicks responsibilities, I will not be around for a couple of weeks, so Rich will be manning the ship through the All-Star break. I will see you guys after the World Cup. We'll just say that. After the World Cup is when I will see you, because it coincides with when my responsibilities start to die down. And then, we'll take you guys through the summer. Rich, any final words?
Yeah, I'll be back Thursday evening to do the midweek show. I'll be doing the last Sunday show of the first half solo, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Gonna have some bonus episodes next week during the All-Star break, which is fun. We're gonna have a prospect themed episode with a special guest that I'm excited to announce soon. There will be a Patreon episode coming out at some point, probably next week, where me and Michael Barron react to fan trade proposals, which we're gonna put a call out for soon. So some fun stuff coming up, and then Andrew will be back second to last or last week of July.
In the future,
later in
I'll
July.
be back. Let's just preview the next week. You're right.
Yeah, later in July.
Yes, later in the future.
Yeah,
yes,
later. But yeah, so stick around, and that's it for me.
There you go. Thank you for everybody for tuning into this edition of the Just Mets podcast. If you dug it, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. If you're watching, please like this video. Remember to subscribe. Let's go Mets. Enjoy the final week before the All-Star break. We just gave you some reasons to watch, especially that MLB awards race. Even a reason to listen. The final games of Howie Rose in his legendary broadcasting career. Until next time, he is Rich. I am Andrew. I almost did the Knicks Film School outro.
Oh, by the way, March to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're getting close.
Hell yeah. Look at us. He is Rich. I am Andrew. Let's go Mets. And in the words of the immortal Gary Cohen, we are out of here.